one thing Australia certainly have, and we talked about Wales being a bit limited in this area and their line-out options, but Australia have plenty of them.
Yeah, they work very hard at their line-out play. It's one of the strongest parts of their play, especially when you consider Johnny's is in the team. They drive a lot of line-outs, and from that drive they get a lot of good attacking positions, but they also compete very well on opposition ball, which is probably something that most other teams don't do quite as well as Australia.
It's one of the things England did pretty well yesterday against Italy. Now John Eales is at the back, and it's Finnegan who's lifted. So again, a nice variation there. Kafer taking it flat. Here's Timmy Horan, one man to beat Tim Horan. Support from Phil Kearns. Quick cover from the Romanians, credit to them for that. But now there's a chance perhaps with Herbert and Kafer. Good tackle by Dragoianu. Romanian number 8. Options both sides. David Wilson. Gregan, and that's beautifully played, and it's Kefu through the hole. Second try, Australia.
Well, all that came from some pretty weak tackling from a line-out where Horan really had to run about 20 yards without a finger being laid on him. But then we saw a fabulous flick from Gregan. He invented this in ACT playing with the Brumbies, and he's a no-look pass inside. Everyone knows it's coming in the Australian team. It's something they work very hard at, and it's a fabulous little bit of skill. And Kefu's untouched under the post.
It's a little trick that's been stolen by scrum halves and number 8s all around the world since then. I know Gary Armstrong and Pat Lam used it pretty effectively for Newcastle when they won the league championship in England.
No one does it, I think, quite as well as Gregan does it in Australia.
So the old 1-2, and you feel it's going to be a big total for Australia here tonight. Ravenhill well packed now. You get the feeling they might well be here to witness something of an exhibition. And no question that of the 3 Southern Hemisphere superpowers, as we refer to them, Australia made the best start to this World Cup. Fusak's restart, taken by Giffen. Good take it was too. Gregan. George Solomé underneath it. Oh, and he's made a mistake, and in there goes Ben Tune. Romania getting away with it to a certain extent, getting the scrummage for the knock forward.
Kick was a little bit long there, and I think Solomé, the winger, felt he was under a bit more pressure than he was and went up for a jump, which is a difficult skill at the best of times.
Free kick to Romania. Paul Honus calling them back.
Too much weight in the scrum, and I think that might be a problem for the Romanians all afternoon.
Gontiniak. Brinza trying to gain the hard yards for Romania. Mitu, Vusak. Plenty of room on that far side.
Vusak looks a comfortable player on the ball. Looks to have good vision. He took a pop at goal earlier from about 40 yards out. Plenty of confidence there, and a nice cross-field kick pushing Australia back.
They've played a lot together for Romania, Mitu and Vusak. Had a good game against Ireland in Dublin in the World Cup qualifying. So they're a settled half-back partnership. Phil Kearns into Owen Finnegan. Kefu again driving through, attempting to punch the holes. Fiorianu. Matt Burke is back there with a bit of time. Solomé. Brasiano, and here's Mitu. That's a beautiful break by the scrum half. And here's a chance perhaps for Romania, charging through Brezoianu. Kiefer back covering beautifully. But Gwyn, as it said before the game, they are a pretty reasonable attacking force.
Yeah, some tremendous adventure shown from a long kick from Burke and a couple of long passes in midfield, and then Mitu, the little scrum half, was away, and a good chip, intelligent chip for Brazulu to chase, and just the last ditch kick away by Kefu to save the try, but rewarded for some good adventure early on.
There's going to be a penalty though in the meantime. Bit of obstruction by Kefu, which was spotted by the touch judge. And the referee speaking to John Eales, just explaining exactly what was going on.
And really you feel if that's a penalty for obstruction that close to the line, then the possibility of a penalty try must come into the equation. That would have been a turn up for the Bucks, wouldn't it, early on in this game, a penalty try for Romania?
Not quite what we would have expected. But Romania a chance to put some points on the boards here at Ravenhill. It's going to be a difficult night. Strong swirling wind and rain showers forecast. It's raining pretty hard off and on all day. Me to the scrum half. That's a good kick from Mitu. Takes his time, not quite as long as Quesada, the Argentinian standoff, who I timed at 27 seconds.
Well, I can't complain too much. We've got a certain ginger hair kicker in our country who takes his time over kicks, but he, in fairness, he invariably gets them. But 3 points there, and nothing less than Romania to do for that adventurous start from their own 22.
I thought weary forwards loved kickers who took their time.
You do feel perhaps that Romania will be better off trying to keep the ball for as long as they can, because defensively, as we've seen early on, they're not the cleverest team in the world. Perhaps keeping the ball, they'll do a little less defending.
They do have a cutting edge though in that back line in more than one area. That's John Eales taking it. Cairns, Gregan, Giffen. Advantage to Romania. Knock on. Pity that. Plenty of golden jerseys to Gregan's left and not that many Romanian defenders. Brezoianu and through the 90.
Bit of a messy scrums early on, almost always the case. The two front rows trying to get some sort of dominance in this most important area of the game.
A pretty decent front row have Romania. Konstantin Stan is in there, who played in the 1991 World Cup, and Roteru is based in France with Montauban. Well, he kept hold of it, didn't he? Well, it was a good recovery by Gontiniak, but unfortunately he had knocked on.
And again, plenty of adventure shown in the shadows of their own posts. Romania deciding to run it, and but for a knock on there, the centre was away. And there you can see that a little tap on the waist by Kefu telling him, I would have had you, I promise.
Kefu again, binding from Gregan. Herbert powering through the centre. But they've managed to rob the ball through Bioreanu, and it's Son who clears. So again, another Australian attack backfires.
Yes, it's possibly the theme of the afternoon that we've seen all day. The Southern Hemisphere teams are making mistakes. Perhaps it is a little bit greasy and the ball not quite to their liking, but they're going to have to get used to it, because that's what it's going to be like. Only going to get worse in this time of year in the Northern Hemisphere.
Interesting though there to see George Gregan binding on Kefu and David Wilson taking the ball on. And they've shown plenty of variation in the line out and now in the set piece. Finnegan attempting to recover the ball. Romanians have it, that's me too. Little touch forward. Just lacking a little efficiency at the moment.
Yeah, so I lost the ball a couple of times, and we'd never, in situations we would never expect them to. But in fairness, Romania have been very competitive over the last 5 or 10 minutes.
Scrummaging pretty well there too. That's Burke. Taken by Son. In goes Dragoianu. Well, that's good play from the Wallabies. Sluzariuk putting his weight in there to try and stop that maul. Phil Kearns, though, driven towards touch, and that's good defence by the Romanians.
Yeah, the small figure of Mitu there. The committed scrum half. Got a little impact in this game already. Firstly, with a cracking run down the right-hand touchline, and then a good tackle on Phil Kearns. I don't think he was expecting a scrum half to hit him back quite like that.
Looks a little shocked.
How dare they?
12 points to 3 then for Australia. Petra Mitu, 22 years of age, won the league championship this year with Bucharest. And a fine kicker of the ball, scored all 19 points against Scotland in the defeat in August. So trying something a little bit different. Petru Balan, Dinamo Bucharest puts in. Playon is the referee as Balan goes down. Mitu, Busek, tackle from Kafer. Small man Kafer, but a big hitting out half. Put in some great tackles against the All Blacks in Stadium Australia. But Mitu goes again. He really does have penetration, this scrum half. Gontiniak, Horan the tackle. Beautifully set. Good ball for Romania. Mitu. Son going the other way and putting his midfield under pressure.
Petra Mitu, the scrum half, really is a live wire when he's got the ball. And yet again, a sniping run on the side of the Ruxo Moors. And quality attacking from Romania. When they do keep the ball and do put the phases together, they do look a very good team. They must concentrate on the defence though, because at the moment they're being cut too easily by this powerful Australian team.
Timmy Horan, 29 years of age now, member of the 1991 winning side, beat England in the final, of course. Has struggled with injury, missed the 94 season, but despite that has still managed to amalgamate 80 caps, his 80th cap tonight. Hello, mate. Plenty of tinnies around this part of the world, but they've all got black stuff in them.
I don't think too many be drunk tonight, do you think, Mark?
Kefu again. David Wilson there with a pick-up now. Giffen. Kafer. Virianu steaming across. Ben Tune with a shoulder charge. Solomon. David Wilson's there quickly. Good tackle. Kefu, pincer movement by the Australian back row. Well, that's a Breziano. Not a lot of room in international midfields these days. Virianu. Oh, booming kick from him. That's Jason Little. One of the very experienced Australians. Been around for a long time, and a beautiful bit of work there by Jason Little. Now Gregan, Giffen. Romania defence is stretched here. If Gregan can spin it, Kafer. Miss pass would do nicely. Well, Again, Australian mistake when they may well have had an opportunity there for a try. B2 Solomie.